What's up, world? It's Katrina
and Marlena, and this is Excess Baggage,
the podcast where two friends in their 30s unpack all of life's baggage. This episode, we will be unpacking the strong Black woman syndrome.
Okay, let's start the show.
What is your baggage on today?
I don't know. I always say I don't know, but I do know. I don't know, it's something about Black moms and how sometimes they can say things that get maybe they get under your skin, but not necessarily get under your skin as in like made you upset. But It makes you think like, well, why would they ask me something like this? It's like sometimes I get questioned about certain things, or, I'll be asked, what do I think about something? And then when she doesn't elaborate or like go into detail, sometimes it like leaves me wondering like, well, what the hell did that mean?
Yeah.
And then because it was so like, I want to say minor, but it wasn't, something serious, like coming back to that would just be, it could be awkward. Like, right. Well, what did you mean when you said, well, like no one likes to be questioned like that. Right. I just wish that we would have kind of finished the conversation. So then I could kind of see like, okay, well, where did that come from?
Because now you're reeling. Your brain is going.
Yeah. Like,
making up narratives that might not even be true.
So what do you say? Is this what you're thinking? I'm just thinking like that. But I guess that's my baggage for today. Just kind of, over analyzing, which I tend to do. I know that I'm a worrier, which I feel like I got from my mother anyway. So
sure,
it's just one of those things.
Right.
And so, yeah, I just kind of maybe I wouldn't say too long, I know how to cut it off, but
right.
I think for about a good hour, I just kind of was like, like, it wasn't like pressing in the brain, but it was kind of like in the background somewhere, just chilling.
What's funny about that, right? Because it doesn't feel funny in the moment, but it's one of those things where it's like, if you just asked, you could get it out of the way. But instead, we reel for an hour or however long and like convince ourselves not to ask the question.
Well, I'm never afraid. I'll definitely ask questions, but I just know, when you know the person, you just know, right? So maybe this is the next time I talk to her. Might not be the next time I bring it up, but maybe at some point, but just not right now.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
And if she wants to expound on it, I'm sure I will hear about it again.
Right.
I am 1000% sure I will hear it again. So
this is not the end of that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Anyway, what's your baggage for today?
I was just acknowledging on my way home today that I need to stop being so nice. And I feel like I do.
Oh my God, Katrina.
What?
I just need to stop being so nice.
I do.
Oh my God. Why you say it like that? Why you say it like that? You're just like, you know what? On my way home, I just thought about it and I'm just done.
Listen.
I decided maybe I should stop being so nice.
Yes. That is a real thing that's happening in my life right now. Okay.
I'm gonna let you continue. But I just want you to know that was hilarious. But go ahead.
Those are literally the words I said to myself. Like, you gotta stop being so nice. So to be clear, I feel like I do a fairly good job with boundaries. I don't think I've always been great with them, but I think at this time in my life, I do a fairly good job with boundaries for the most part. And I can have a tendency to not think hard enough before I answer questions or before I agree to things and overpack my schedule. And I do it a lot of times because it's like, oh, like it'll be fine. It's not that big of a deal. Or I have the time, or whatever. But the reality is, like, I don't. I don't.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
I really don't. My schedule was really packed this week. And I added some other things on that were not initially on my plate at the top of the week in order to like accommodate people. Um, and also because I'm going out of town next week or this weekend through next week. So I was like, okay, like this will make it easier on me, but also it doesn't because tomorrow is going to be a really long day. And just thinking about it, I don't feel overwhelmed, but I do feel exhausted. Like just at the thought of all of the things that I need to do tomorrow, I just feel exhausted. So that's why I feel like I need to stop being so nice. Like I need to take a beat and just not accommodate. Even if I feel like I have the time and all of that. I'm gonna also throw on top of this, my period started. And so now I'm really beating myself up like, you are going to be so tired tomorrow and probably not feeling well because it'll be day 2. So, like, this would have been a good day to not have
the bloody day 2. The fucking
Right.
bloody day 2. It's like a horrible. I feel like every girl I've ever met has always told me that day 2 is the worst.
It is. It's so like.
I mean, I say 1 and 2 really, because 1 is just like. Well, I don't know. Depending on who you are, 1 can go 1 or 2 ways.
Right.
You could either A, be out just having a great time, like not even paying attention,
right, and then it just hits, right.
And you're like, what? And
right.
Then, and then the other one is just like, oh, so now you want to play games.
Right.
You want to act like you're coming, but you're not really coming. You're just going to send me through a bunch of BS,
The
a bunch
shit
of
show.
PMS.
Yeah.
That is not going to feel good. And then by day 2, I'm just dying.
Yeah. Day 1 and 3 are like a crapshoot, depending on what's been going on in your life. Day 2, though, pretty consistently, she be rough.
Yeah.
She be rough.
Yeah.
And even if it's not like cramps and like not feeling good, it's just I'm exhausted.
Right.
Like, my body just be like, why are you like up and moving and like functioning? Like, go to sleep. So that's the other piece of it. It's like if I had not accommodated so many people, I would have less going on tomorrow on day 2 of my cycle. So that's and I leave town Friday morning. Tomorrow is the last day to pack. I have not started packing. I still got to
do that right after this. Literally, after you get off of this, you need to like at least put a pair of pants, something in there. Something.
I know.
Just open the bag.
This is why I need to stop being so nice, Marlena, because I haven't started packing. I still need to clean my freaking house before I leave. Like, so I just have to not accommodate people. I need to be more clear with myself before I respond to things and just like really take full inventory. I think that's the problem. It's not necessarily that I'm being too nice to people, but it's that I'm not taking full inventory of what is on my plate.
Right.
And then for whatever reason, every time before you leave town, you end up running around no matter how much you planned.
So true.
And how much you tried to get things done early, you still end up running around. So I feel like tomorrow I could have used the extra time to potentially run around if I needed to, but I don't have it now. And so it's just going to be what it is. But I ran around today and yesterday because I packed my Thursday. So that's my baggage today. I'm feeling the impact of some decisions that I made this week.
Or you're feeling the impact of what our topic is today, which is
you right.
Strong Black woman syndrome. No.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You're right.
Kind of low key. You
Doing
know,
all the things,
doing all the things,
not slowing down.
balancing and kind of running a little like I won't even say rat race, but like a little hamster wheel. It's like it,
Mhm.
and sometimes it's so heavy that just when you do fall, you just don't know how far the fall is going to be. You're
Mhm.
hoping that, you can retrieve some sort of dignity, so that you can be like, look, I know that I'm excellent. I know
Right.
that I am capable of a lot of things. But you know what else I know is that I also want to be healthy.
Uh-huh. I
I
want
wanna
to
be healthy. I
rest.
want to rest. I want to enjoy my success. I don't wanna feel like, and I know it's like, oh man,
I don't wanna be running around all the time. I don't wanna
no.
be running myself into the ground. I don't wanna be exhausted. I don't wanna have a hellish day 2
Right.
because I deserve to be able to take a break, extra long break on my day 2 because I just need that. I deserve to be able to listen to my body, and I wanna be able to make space for that.
Mhm. Um, I mean, I know there are so many times within my career that I have put my work before my health and have had a series of like mini breakdowns
Mm,
of just trying to pull it together, you know, maybe going in the bathroom and just crying a little bit and just like letting it all out emotionally and then walking back in and just beasting everything that was in front of me,
right.
which in theory, like, yeah, it feels good to say that, that you're good at what you do, but at the same time, yeah, it's not
It's not good.
it's not good, and I rather take like, I don't wanna work fast. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? Like, I wanna like, yeah, we're gonna get from A to B or wherever we need to be, but, like, everything should be just planned accordingly,
Sure.
and I feel like with the skills a lot of Black women do have, it just seems like it would be easier for us to navigate that space where we could be like, okay, look, this is the schedule. This is the way it's going to be. I'm going to prioritize my time and prioritize me, without feeling guilty.
Right.
I feel like that is like the big thing about it all. It's just
Right.
a guilt factor that you feel about not doing more.
Right.
And I think it's just ingrained in us because of, our upbringing and the way that Black people have to fight for every single thing.
Absolutely. Extra hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm sure that there was guilt at some point, but for as long as I can remember, I will say it's not so much that I experienced guilt, but it is that like it's such a habit to just take things on that I just don't think about it. And I think that has been the most challenging piece for me is like slow the fuck down and think. Like
Right.
you have, especially now, like working for myself to some degree, I have the ability to make choices that don't have to require me being in that kind of space where I'm taking things on that I don't want to or things of that nature. Yeah, sure. Certain things we still have to do, but I have the ability to say no. I have the ability to like not do the thing, but there is this feeling of like, oh, no, I got it. I got it. Okay, yeah, no, I got it. Let's do it. All right, cool. And then I look up and I'm like, why is my schedule so full? Like, what was I, where was I when I made this schedule? This makes no sense. Like, who did this? And
Right.
it was me. I just wasn't thinking. I wasn't processing. I didn't slow down and take a beat. I didn't, you know, really look at my full calendar and see what's in front of me before I said yes to things, right? It was just like, oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, yeah, no, let's do it. Fine, whatever. And I do that in business. And then when somebody in my personal life calls, it's like, oh yeah, absolutely, because that's a no-brainer to me. But now I done said yes to everything in business and then added somebody else on top of that. And now my schedule is like, where, how, when? When are you gonna sleep? When are you gonna take care of yourself?
Right. And I don't know. I just feel like, is it just are we just mirroring what we've seen?
Absolutely.
Because I can't count how many times like my mother or like my aunts or just people will just be going above and beyond and doing all the things to the point where I'm like, those were questions like, when are you sleeping?
Right.
And now that I think for me that because I feel like I've always been kind of surrounded by older people,
Mm.
and they instilled in me like, you got to work hard, you got to work hard, you got to work hard. It's just like, it's not up for debate. And I look at some of them, not, my grandparents are doing okay, but I look at some of my family members that I know were going like ham like that, and they are not doing well.
Right.
They're just not doing well. And I guess I'm just afraid that if I
Mhm.
don't be more mindful of what's going on, that I am going to miss it. And I'm going to look up and be older and just, when I'm supposed to be like really thriving and
Right.
enjoying what I've, built, I'm going to be
Right.
worried about, other things.
Right. Absolutely. I think it's a both and situation. Like some of it is we mirror what we've seen growing up and what other women around us were doing. Like there's to some degree you just feel like that's what you're supposed to do. And then there is the actual verbal teachings. Right? It is them saying you got to work hard or harder, or you got to do the thing, or when you come to them and you're asking for help, or you're struggling and having a hard day, and it's like, yeah, you can get a hug and a pat on the back, but you got to move through it.
Right.
It's not like
Right.
a take a break, you're good. Like, take a load off. Let's see what we can get off your plate. It's like okay, you had a moment, cool, keep going, right? And then that is that like verbal teaching that like there is no space to correct or move differently. It's just you let it go. It's like you pack it on till you get overwhelmed. You do whatever happens when you get overwhelmed, you have a breakdown or whatever, and then you go back to packing it on, you go back
Yep.
to carrying the weight, you go back to doing the thing. There wasn't like this, hey, don't you think that maybe we should look at what you're taking on and maybe taking some things off of your plate? Maybe we should look at making sure that you have somebody to talk to. Maybe we should, you know what I mean? Like there was none of that. It was just like, all right, you cried it out, you're good, cool, all right, let's keep going. You
Right.
got to keep going. You got to move through it. You got to push through, right? And so I think
Right.
it's both of those. It's seeing it play out, but then it's also that verbal teaching. And I think we get the reason why it's like the strong Black woman syndrome. It's like we get the worst of it. Women have this narrative in their heads in general, in especially in America, where like we take on all the things, right? And then Black folks have this narrative around you got to work 10 times harder than everybody else. You got to do all the things. You have to appear like there's nothing wrong, like you can handle everything, like you are a Superman or Superwoman or however you want to call that. And you keep going. You never let them see you sweat and all of that kind of stuff. And then you put those two together, it's a wrap. Like we are supposed to be invincible and nothing's supposed to bother us.
Yeah. No.
Right. That's not
Nah,
real.
it's not real. It's really, first of all, it's not real. And I think that's, I don't know. I feel like sometimes things, how do I say it? I mean, it just makes you feel resentful of
Absolutely.
other, people that for a fact are not going as hard, and they are just exposed to so many opportunities,
Absolutely.
uh just for being,
Mm-hmm.
just for knowing a person. And that to me has always been an issue. I felt like, aside from just being a strong Black woman, like, yeah, being an issue with communication. Like there aren't a lot of Black women that really want to put on other Black women.
Mm.
They feel like their success is something that it's like they got to bottle it up or whatever. And I feel like and I'm not saying at all, obviously, but you know, there are some people, like they always say, there are some people that are allies and there are some people that are posing as allies.
Absolutely.
I mean, I saw that whole post on, I don't know if you saw that post where that woman was talking about how she asked for or the woman was asking for $82,000 and the recruiter was black, right? These are two black people.
Yeah, I did see
It's
this.
just and she's like, oh, but the ceiling was 132,000, but it's not my job to tell them, to
know their worth, basically,
or know their worth. And I'm like, see, this is the type of shit I'm talking about. Like that is like a prime example, and that's not like some little like just
that's a lot of money.
One-off. That's not a one-off either. It's what I mean. Like it's not just some like this just happened. No, this is happening throughout all the industries. And I'm just like, damn, man, that's how like just as a culture, like we have so many good things and then there's so many other things that really need help.
Right.
It's really stems from, the way we were brought here. The way we were all just kind of pinned against each other, really.
Absolutely.
That this divisiveness within us is there. And I'm like, man, please.
Right. And also there's a level, I think, especially with that post, when I was looking at it, I think there's a level of like, you're assuming that this person knew something.
Yeah.
And so you're missing, like you're forgetting the internalized narratives and the internalized racism, and you're forgetting the system that you are in. To suggest that this person does not know their worth is ridiculous when companies historically will not share with you what the range is for a position.
No, they
will
never
ask
do.
you what you want,
right?
And they will give you what you want if that's in their budget,
right?
And the budget could be a lot higher than that.
And if you say something different, they're not going to say anything.
They're not going to fight you on it.
But for me, that is the whole reason why you should tell the person. Absolutely. Because that helps other Black people. It's not Absolutely. Just about y'all. You know, I just like that kind of stuff. I don't know. I know we're talking about strong Black women syndrome, and I kind of went on a tangent, but it was just like this. There is this way of just like not feeling like you have any guidance.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, like you were saying, you don't have the guidance. And then sometimes you ask the question and then, you're lucky if you get that support. And then somebody that really like maybe sees somewhat of themselves in you, in them, see some of you in them. So they want to help you, or they feel what I'm saying, like literally, in the white world, it don't work like that. Okay. It could be a fucking some son that, just don't have a job, and they'd be like, oh, well, I know such and such on the board of this, and this is how these boards look like this, with these dumb motherfuckers making all these decisions where, giving opportunity for somebody who's, actually dope and has their shit together. Like, what's the problem?
Right. But if let's be honest though, Black folks do the same thing. We just don't have as much access. Right? It's the moments when we are not doing that, like this post that you're talking about, that we already have less access, and to do something like that then puts us further behind. And part of the reason why we want more of us in higher levels, higher level positions and in management and HR and things of that nature is so that these things don't happen. Because there are many stories where the HR person was a Black woman and was like, nah, sis, ask for more.
Right.
Like, or, yeah, I hear you, but I'm going to give you what the range really is because you deserve it. Right. And so that's the reason why we want that. It's not that Black folks don't do that. It's just with the moments when it doesn't happen, it's so much more detrimental because we already don't
Yeah,
have it.
exactly,
And the moments
exactly.
when we're doing it, we may not have as much access. There are Black folks doing that all day, every day, but they work at the little corner store or they work, you know what I mean? Like they're not
Right,
on
right,
boards of
right.
things. So the access is different. But I mean, we do that in our community too. It's just, it hurts us so much more when we are not following through with that, when we are not looking at each other and going, let me help you out because I understand that there are systems that haven't taught you what
Exactly.
this is supposed to look like and what you
Right.
deserve.
Yeah, facts.
And then, we get back to that narrative of like, well, you were supposed to know. How?
Because you're just
Because
supposed to know, Katrina. You're
because
just
you
supposed
a
to
black
know.
woman and
Yeah,
you just
that's
supposed to
it.
know shit.
You're just supposed to know. And that's I don't know. I always found it to be strange anyway in companies when they don't say like what people like what the salary ranges are. I always find it to be strange because I'm just like, how the hell are you supposed to, yeah, how are you supposed to know? Especially with us, if it's like a private company, they can pay you whatever they want to pay you. There's no
Mhm.
like, regulation to
It's
say that they
arbitrary as
have to,
hell.
right. You can do what you want.
Yep.
So I don't know. You know,
Yep.
a public company I can understand, because they have shareholders and they have, shit to answer to. So you can't be doing no like, but anyway.
Mm. But I think to your point about like guidance, what's challenging is the generations before us, at least in my experience, for the most part, they were so deeply ingrained in that I don't think they know how to provide guidance. Right. Like, I don't think that they know how to say, like, slow down and whatever, because that was never even a thought for them. So then it kind of feels like to some degree, our generation is like, we're learning it and we teaching each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's there are some people that you can get like find somebody who's an older generation who's like, nah, sis, chill out. Like you don't want to end up like I ended up, or you don't want to go down this road, or I saw other people who did it, like do something different. Obviously, they are there, but I feel like they're unicorns. And so we're kind of learning it as we are moving, but we're learning it because we're burnt out, because we're tired, because we're depressed and anxious and don't have it anymore. Like we're struggling.
Well,
And then it's like we got to figure something else out.
that, and I also feel that maybe, you know, like if you just think about, like, if we're talking, because I'm only going to think from my experience, right? So,
Sure.
a middle class family, back then, they were having kids earlier. They were definitely, taking on the household responsibility. And I feel
Absolutely.
like some of them, wanted to give the opportunity for us to be able to have that space to say, let me think about this, or to be more
Sure.
more exploratory. We might have had more of a freedom to do that. They were having larger families back then,
Sure.
and some with education, some not, and having to take care of 10 plus kids in some of these households. I feel like
Absolutely.
when you say ingrained, it's like that's all, like, yeah, it's like that is literally all they know is to just work, 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 work. And I feel like the more and more I'm maturing and becoming, stepping into my womanhood, I'm like realizing, like, okay, there has to be some type of balance. There has to
Absolutely.
be, because I don't know, some men, they, I feel like they work hard, yes, but at the same time, when it comes to, like, if we're talking about families and how I feel like moms, women, if you're talking about strong black women and we're talking about motherhood as well, it's like, damn. Like that's like, I mean, there's so many stories of the single black mom.
Right.
It's just the fact that, like, it's so interesting that you never hear that about other sides, right? It's
Right.
a single black mama, like, oh, look, she was able to put him through college and she was able to do all this. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm sure mama
At
did
what
not have a life.
expense?
She
Yeah.
literally, she, which is noble, She got to, do that for her family and for her child, because the child obviously, didn't ask to be here. But at the
Right.
same time, it's just like, damn, where's the support? Where
Right.
is it? You
Right.
know?
Yeah. And that goes back to those narratives, right? Like it is the woman's responsibility, it's the mother's responsibility to take care of those things and take care of the children, get all of that done. And then, it's not necessarily, and obviously not in every household, but it's not necessarily the man's responsibility. And so he can work or do other things and be fine. And, there are men out there who are doing the same shit, but they don't get the same accolades for it. They're not being recognized for it in the same way.
No, they're
We
not.
we are acknowledged for the amount of pain and suffering and
Mhm.
hard work.
It's almost like a badge of honor,
Yes, like how
which is
much
like
can
kind of
you
strange.
destroy yourself
Right.
and still get shit done? And that's what you're gonna get like your little Girl Scout badge for.
Right.
Like that's what this is.
Right.
And it's not the same for men. It's they definitely have their stuff too, but like it's different. We get awarded for sacrificing and the amount that we sacrifice and the amount that we uh think about other people before ourselves and put other people first. And then we get bashed if we don't do those things,
Right.
especially as a parent.
Oh yeah.
But in other aspects of life too, like if we don't do it, if we don't think about other people first, then we're looked at as selfish and all the things. And that has such an impact on how you feel about yourself, how you're moving through the world, you were just talking about you having several breakdowns because you were doing the most. Like that has a huge impact on your mental health and how you feel in the day to day.
I just feel like, you know, while it might, I know we're supposed to, live in acts of service. I don't think the service should be detrimental to you.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I just I don't see it. I really don't see it.
Mm-mm.
And to me, to be a true like matriarch is to learn from the past and past matriarchs, take what they did and make it better. And so if I'm
Yeah,
going to be known as somebody, it's also going to be known not only for what I did for my family, but
sure.
how I progressed and
Yeah.
what I did, how I was human,
Mm, that part.
how I was really human.
That part. Absolutely. And I think if I can say, not to say that like we're perfect, but I think our generation of Black women is fighting really hard in that. And I love it. Like the
Yeah.
businesses that we are starting that are honoring and encouraging self care and wellness, the ways that we are showing up to do more wellness events. I mean, you've talked extensively about like your meditation practice and people going to yoga and like all of these things that we are really showing up for. We both talk about going to therapy and all of that. And I feel like our generation is very heavily like, nah, this is not a cycle I want to continue. I got to do something different. I don't want to live this out. I don't want to become like the other people that you named in your family who are really struggling because they did not let their foot off the gas when they were younger.
Right.
Um, and I think we are doing that so well. The challenge is, though, we're in that in between generation where, like, the people before us didn't do it at all. And the people after us, they kind of got the hang of it. They're doing a lot better. But we were the generation that had to, like, learn the
Right.
hard way.
Right. Exactly.
So it's been rough. It's been rough. We went through several breakdowns before we got there.
It's
And
kind of
I'm
like
still doing it.
it's like the prototype, you got to
Yes.
get it just right. So
And
we're
there's bumps
moving
and
through it.
bruises along the
Exactly.
way.
Right.
Like me today, realizing that I need to check the calendar more thoroughly before I say yes today.
Right. Right.
Goodness.
No, I
Ugh.
have so many. It's so funny you talk about the calendar. I have so many calendar invites to things that I know, like some of them, majority of them I don't have to attend. I just need to know about. But
Right.
there's just so many. And I just look as it grows each day and I'm just like, I'm not adding anything on there unless I for sure need to attend.
Right.
Like I like all of them are just going to remain notifications. And at some point when the dates go by, I will clear them out. But until then, I'm not worried about them.
Mm-hmm.
And if I put it in, I'll definitely have an alert on for myself.
Right.
And that's it.
Right. Ugh, yes. I wish I could just leave things. Wish I could just leave things on red. But we're not gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Well, I guess to sum it all up, if you are in a position though to help a Black woman, I mean, come on.
Help a
Just go
sister
on and do
out.
it. Just do it.
Help a sister out.
Don't see any
we need
reason
it.
why you shouldn't.
No.
I mean, unless she's like a scammer or something.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, use your best judgment, absolutely.
Right, for sure.
And at the same time, like show up and show out for other Black women. Cause we out here and we tired and we deserve for people to like take our hand and move us through it. And if anybody does that well, it is Black women.
This is true.
So why not do it for each other rather than doing it for all the other folks?
I mean, we was feeding families on syrup sandwiches.
That is not where I thought you were going with that. Like at all.
I know.
Not where I thought you were going.
I don't even know why I thought of that. I don't know.
Just really not where I thought. I thought this was going to turn into like a conversation about like white babies and Black enslaved women and breastfeeding. No. And you went with syrup sandwiches and that's not
where it was going. I don't know.
I mean, you're not wrong. I just not where I thought that was going.
Anyway. Help a sister out. That's going to be a new hashtag. Help a sister out. Excess baggage.
And if nothing else, do it for yourself. Say no. Schedule some time during your day, even if it's just 5 minutes, to take a few deep breaths, to take a nap, to just close your eyes, to walk away, to do something that feels good to your spirit, meditation, movement.
Do some dancing like nobody's watching.
Do something good for you.
Hit a lick one time. That's all I'm saying.
Or several, if that's your thing. Like, do something good for you because you deserve it. And we can't be out here wearing ourselves out. We need you, sis. Like,
for real though,
we need you. We can't have you wearing yourself out and not able to be present. Like, this world needs your magic. So,
ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm. All right. This next segment is called Roses. Miss Marlena, who would you like to give your rose to today?
Well, my first name ain't Baby. It's Janet. Miss Jackson, if that's there. Well, you know what? I wanted to give a rose to Janet Jackson. I'm not sure if I've ever talked about Janet on this podcast.
I don't think you have.
First of all, I'm giving it to her because obviously, I love music and I like other music fans or pop culture fans. This past weekend, the Janet Jackson documentary came out and it was like a 4-part doc. It was like 4 hours long. And, it was a documentary. Okay, man. It really was a real documentary. And I really appreciate Janet for doing it because she is the Jackson family is very private people, especially because they've been dragged through the mud so much, which is, not ironic at all. Nothing about that is ironic. Just from, the 60s on, not surprised that the Jacksons have stayed in the, news or tabloids or all that jazz. But, Janet really did tell what she wanted to tell. How about that? And I, growing up, Janet Jackson was, I want to say she was everything to me, but she definitely set the standards for me in terms of live shows. I love
Mm,
concerts. Janet Jackson was my very first show I ever went to, was the Janet Jackson Velvet Rope Tour.
wow.
And, that was a lot for a 10-year-old to take in,
I'm sure.
especially because she was like on her game. It wasn't like it was Janet Jackson like coming out for her first tour. No, this is like 4 tours in, so
Mm,
she's on the top of
she
her
was
game
killing it.
and killing it. And just the crowd was going wild. And, just being in that environment, I'm like, whoa, like this is what shows are like. This is what concerts are like. And that kind of like turned me into kind of a concert junkie. So thanks, Janet. But I just admire just the strength it took for her to come out of the shadow of her brothers. That is not an easy deal, especially as
Mm,
big as the Jacksons were. I mean, they are the Jackson Five, one of the most successful, African American bands, or bands really, for all time,
right,
but
right.
also African American for sure. Because at that time, we weren't really we were popping, but we weren't really popping. You know what I'm saying? Unless you were like a hit. They wasn't like they were like the first Beatles, like before
Mm,
Beatles were as, I feel like that's how it turned out to be, or it was our version of the Beatles, kind of. Every black child wanted to be with one of the Jacksons. Okay. That's just the way it is. Either the boys wanted to dress like them and be like them, or the girls wanted to marry them. And that's just the way it was. So, coming out of a family with that much superstardom and able to get with the right people, and know that she had to, obviously take control of her image and what she wanted to do. And
right.
not only doing what she wanted to do, but also like the fact that Janet Jackson, you know, was sensual and sexual, and
Hmm.
kind of testing the boundaries that, men could talk about whatever, and it's no big deal. And for a woman to kind of put it all out there or whatever, and also come, like I said, coming from this like American dynasty type family, it's like, whoa, 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 you're doing what? And
Right.
people accepted her.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. And really, if you look at any female artist of the last, I don't know, 25 years, they all have some sort of Janet flow in it. And I don't know if we, obviously we have to, Janet and Janet's team and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and all those people, like they really like poured into her, and she was able to just, you know, leave a badass legacy. And
Mm.
it's just the Jackson, you know. I don't know what Catherine and Joe what they was doing, but
You know what they was doing.
I knew what they was doing, but I'm just saying something was in there. Something.
They were
So
determined to make sure that they had successful children, and they did not fail.
well, I mean, Joseph didn't definitely was determined. Okay. We won't
Listen,
even go
we
into
know what
that.
they were
We know
doing.
it, yeah, we know what you were doing, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you know,
To
Catherine,
some degree, you have to acknowledge that there was some natural talent there.
yeah, it was some
And
magic
yeah,
formed between those two. And it,
they just milked it.
unfortunately, they milked the hell out of it. And,
Not always in healthy ways.
right, not in a healthy way, but they got them to where they are. And Joseph
Yeah.
did have a vision. Janet and I was shocked that Janet throughout the doc was speaking highly of her father,
Mhm.
and I get it. Again, it's an image.
Yeah.
She didn't give us every single thing, but at least to me it felt like a documentary. And that's what I loved about it. And there's
Mm.
home movies and scenes of even Michael that people have never seen before, which was really touching.
Oh,
I
that's
know the
cool.
fans love that. So I really felt like she bared just enough, no nip intended.
I can't with
Miss
you.
Jackson, if you nasty, and that whole fucking Super Bowl shit, it was fucking lame as hell. It was literally
Girl.
seconds. Get over it. You saw a nipple. Oh my God. Like it was just like the biggest thing. And it didn't make any sense. And I remember watching TV and watching it and being like, I saw it for
Okay.
a quarter of a second. I don't even know how long. Like, I wasn't even sure. I had to ask, did it happen? Was that what I thought I saw?
Right.
But anyway, she does not need to be remembered by that. I mean, they touched on that, but like, honestly, I wish they could just edit that shit, because it's like, it was just stupid. It's a dumb time. All these Republicans down there in Congress talk about that shit. We got more problems, worse problems to be
Y'all leave
discussing than
Janet
fucking
alone.
Janet's nipple. Are you kidding me?
Right. But, anything a Black woman does, gotta be under scrutiny.
Yes, this is true. So shout out to Janet. She's the queen, and those are only two celebs that I really would want to meet in my life, is Janet Jackson and Mariah Carey. Those are the only two. So, those two come into play, I'm with it. So, but yeah, shout out to JJ, Demita Joe.
I haven't seen it yet, but I gotta check it out. Everybody's been talking about it, and I've heard nothing but good things. So I gotta go check it out.
It was good. It was good, but it was a little strange. She didn't she didn't talk about her latest issues. So I thought that was interesting. It was like, okay, I'm gonna give you up until then to here. And then after that, we'll wrap
and
it up.
And then after that, it ain't none of your damn business.
Because I still got, you know what I mean?
And I ain't mad at it.
She like, some shit just need to stay in the vault.
Mm-hmm. Ain't none of your damn business.
But anyway, who do you want to give your rose to today? Ain't none of your damn business. Dumb.
So ridiculous. I don't how do I even follow that rose giving? That was a lot, and it was good, and it was juicy. But I am going to give my rose to a friend, Maria. It is her birthday. We have been friends for, I don't even know how long. Time feels so strange. I always want to say like 5 years, but I know it's been more than that. But I feel like the last 3 years all clash as one. So I don't even know how long, but we've been friends.
We don't count the last 2 years, just minus those.
But like our friendship still counted.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
So put like a little erase that.
Put an asterisk next to it. Just put it next to it.
There was a pause here.
Yeah, there was a pause
in life. Oh goodness. But I want to shout her out because as people's birthdays come up, you start thinking about time that y'all spent together, how long y'all have known each other, years that y'all have been in each other's lives, and things of that nature. And I just think back to the ways that Maria and I connected early on. And we were kind of running in parallel circles and never really truly connected for a long time. And then happened to be at a couple different events together and started kind of speaking to each other a little bit more and all of that. And you just never know who someone's going to become to you, right? You just never know. And she was definitely one of those people who it was like, oh, this is cool, whatever. We kind of know similar people. And then we became really good friends out of nowhere. And the people who we met through, neither one of us speak to anymore. So just acknowledging the ways that she and I have grown, to some degree. Even I wouldn't say grew apart, but we've had our moments of separation because life and things happen, all of that. But just recognizing the things that she and I have been through together, the ways that we've supported each other. She supported my first business venture when I was doing that, and I did the same for her. We were doing that kind of at the same time. We both let those things go as she continued to pursue school, and I, moved on to really focusing on being a therapist and starting this business and all of that. And I don't know, it's just nice to have someone also who I feel like I can be all of me with. And I feel like even though I have friends that I consider really good friends that I love them to death, there are very few people in my life who I feel like I can give all of myself to, like present all of myself to. Spiritually, because a lot of people are just like, Katrina's a hippie. I don't know. We don't understand her stuff. And talking about work and the things that I do, how I feel in, dating and relationships and all of these kind of things. And I don't know, it just with her, none of that mattered. And it's always been, we've been able to just be present with each other. And even if I don't like it or don't agree or whatever, it was okay that there was acceptance and we could be with each other. So I just want to honor her today. Shout out to her. She is having a birthday. She's entering another year of life. I've already said this to her, but I wish her many blessings, joy, lots of abundance during this new year of life because she deserves all of it. And yeah.
Cool. Shout out to Maria. Happy birthday. I
Mhm.
didn't know which song I wanted to go with. Like, did I want to go with Maria, Maria?
That's the one I thought you was gonna go with. That's the one I
Remind
thought.
me of my West Side Story. You have actually no, that was the one, but think about it. The song that I chose was Maria. Maria, I just met a girl named that's Maria. And they
Yeah.
literally say in Maria, Maria, she remind me of West Side Story. So they're connected. They
Yeah,
are connected.
they are connected. They are
But
connected.
shout out to Maria. I hope you're having a great day and turn up.
Have a
However,
shot for
whatever, yeah,
us.
exactly. Whatever turn up that means to you. 'Cause
Right. Take a nap.
you know what I mean?
If
Your
that's what
turn up,
turning up look
right?
like today,
Exactly,
take a nap. You
exactly. Turn
deserve
up
it.
might be go get a massage. Turn up,
Right.
Yeah, turn up could be turn my phone off.
Yes.
It completely just disappear. I'm turning up.
Turn everything off.
Right, exactly. That's a turn up.
That is a turn up. Listen, these days, shut that shit down.
True. I love having do not disturb on.
Girl.
I can't do it a lot because of work, but sometimes when I do it, I feel so relieved. I'm like, oh, I don't have to, because there's just a buzzing sound, and I think I'm hearing buzzing. I'm like crazy. I
It's
don't
the worst when you the phantom
exactly
phantom sound.
yes. I
Oh
think I'm
God.
hearing it, and it's not happening. Sometimes it definitely is, and then sometimes I'm like, wow, girl, that's
You made
crazy.
that up.
I made that up. Great. You're losing it. And then because I don't like to walk around with my phone on me because I leave my phone in another room, but because I kind of have to have my space at times.
Absolutely.
And so, and sometimes, my boss can send me a bunch of shit. And so it's just like back to back to back. And then I'm like, okay, I need to just not be in the room with the phone. And then maybe in 20 minutes, I will go back and look again. But right now, I need to just be away from that because it's too much.
It's too much.
And if it really is serious, like I have other chimes going off in other places that'll tell me if it's like ding, ding. If I keep hearing something, then I'm like, oh shit. Okay, I guess I gotta go get my phone. It was doing just fine over there somewhere else. It was doing okay.
Ma'am.
I know.
But I hear you.
I
hear you. I use my phone for work as well. A separate number, but still it's connected to the same phone. So I'll be ready to put that shit down a lot of the time. So turn your phone off if that's your turn up for today.
Yes, Maria, you do that. We come back to Maria. Yes, Maria, you do that, girl. Turn down for what?
Lord, I haven't heard anybody say that in a long time.
It's me.
We know.
Accept me, Katrina. Accept me.
Girl, we how many years into this thing? Anyway,
you guys have a good week and
support a Black business this week. Support a Black woman business this week.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I'm gonna do a little plug. I have t-shirts.
He does have t-shirts.
I do. I could do a little plug, and the tea goes on. I sell little graphic tees. Thinking about changing it though. Not about the graphic tees, but just a different type of tees. But right now, I do have tees for sale. So I'm a Black woman business. Katrina has wellness,
everything
classes. She has workbooks. I'm
Yes.
sure an
Yeah.
ebook that you can purchase if you need. So we're a Black woman business, and
Yeah.
Excess Baggage is a business. So go
Yeah.
on and review.
Yeah, that part. That part.
Anyway, it's Black
We'll
History
drop all
Month.
the links in the
We
show
are.
notes so y'all can see them. But go out there and support some Black folks, specifically Black women this week, because we're talking about our struggle.
That's right.
Well, that's another episode of Excess Baggage.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Excess Baggage Pod. That's Excess Baggage POD. Be sure to like, subscribe, and review on the podcast app and Spotify.
And remember to pack light and keep it tight.
Faux show.